Welcome to She Sells Radio. My guest today is so inspirational and also very likely someone that you may already know if you are on TikTok or a fan of the show Dancing with Myself. Jenna Faggart is a boutique owner of Three Gems Boutique. She's a mega TikToker where she shares positive and inspirational videos of her life, her family, three of the most adorable little boys who I just fell in love with while I was watching her videos. And most recently was also a contestant on the NBC show Dancing with Myself, which is so cool. And I think she's just a true example of pivoting in times of challenge and using adversity to really turn into an amazing advantage in your life. And so, Jenna, I'm so excited to have you here. I can't wait to learn from you, and welcome to She Sells Radio.
Hi, thank you for having me. I'm so excited. I can't wait to get started.
Oh my gosh. I know. And, you and I were laughing a little bit in the pre-chat because I was, researching you and doing my prep for the interview. And I was like, I know nothing about pop culture. I'm the last person in the world you ever want to ask anything. But I was like, okay, this one has just got featured on NBC. Like, this is a big deal. So I want to talk all about, social media and how you pivoted during the pandemic to create amazing success for yourself. But first, I just want to touch on, so you were just a contestant on the show Dancing with Myself. How did that come about? Like, I'm so curious what that was like for you and how that came about.
It also came from TikTok.
Oh my God. Okay, I do have to get on TikTok.
They found me on TikTok. The whole idea of the show is real people who love to dance, in their everyday life throughout the, not technically supposed to be like professional dancers. And so they were finding a lot of people like myself on TikTok, posting dances, having fun. So I got brought in, and it was an amazing experience. It was overwhelming, but it was so much fun. I got to talk to Shakira. And Nick Jonas. I got to talk to Nick Jonas. It was so cool.
Oh my gosh. What was that like for you when you found out it had happened? Because I
thought it was a scam. I didn't think it was real. I literally emailed back and I was like, is this a scam?
Oh my God. What did they say?
They were like, show. I had never this was the first season of the show, and I just got a random email out of nowhere about a new show on NBC, and I was like, are you really, did you mean to email me? Is this real life? Is this a scam? And they thought it was funny, but they're like, no, really, it's a new show. It's got Shakira is going to be one of the judges, Nick Jonas, Liza Koshy. And they're just telling me all about it. And I was like, okay, well, if it's real, then yes, I'm in. My husband panicked though. I mean, he went into he thought it was one of those shows where you would have to be gone for 2 months at a time to film the whole season. And I thought he was going to die when I got contacted about it. He's like, you can't leave us for a month. I was like, well, first of all, I don't know any details yet. So I'm not shutting it down yet. If it comes to that, we'll see. We will figure it out.
Oh my
I was going 3 days.
3 days. That's it. So, I'm just curious with that. One of the things that I think all of our listeners consistently work on is stepping up to new levels of visibility and getting real. And for some people, right, it's their first TikTok or their first Instagram live or putting themselves out there for a keynote. What was that like for you? Because I'm imagining, I'm just guessing that's the biggest stage you've been on so far. And correct me if I'm wrong, but what was it like to overcome? Was there fear involved in that? Were there a lot of nerves? How did you play the mind game with that?
There were definitely nerves. I am really bad, and I call it mom brain, obviously. I am really bad about walking into a room and forgetting why I walked in there. And that happened to me on stage in the third round, where it was the door opened and I knew the dance. I had just practiced it with the door shut, and the door opened and it went poof. It was just gone. It was not in my brain anymore. So I have moments like that, but I have also I was a cheerleader my whole life. And then even at NC State, I cheered in college. So I have been cheering at football games when there's just tons of people in the stands and in front of all those people. So I've kind of been prepared for it.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think that's the only way, is just I've done it for so long that it wasn't as scary for me as it would be for someone who's never been on a stage, or like I did competition cheer and all of that. So it wasn't as bad just because of my background.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, what did you do in that moment where the door opened and you felt like you forgot your dance?
I just bounced, like smiling,
Yeah.
clapping, pretending like I knew what I was doing, but I wasn't doing the dance. Like everything but the dance.
Well, and I think it's helpful to hear that too, because I think at some point, like for most of us, it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. Like you're going to have one of those higher stakes moments where you got to show up and you're going to give it your all, and then suddenly your brain is like, it just feels like it's gone. So in that moment, what I'm hearing from you is improvise, still bring the energy, and you got to remember, like, no one else knows what you're supposed to be doing except for you. Right. So most people aren't going to be able to tell.
If you keep a smile on your face, they have no idea you're panicking. Just frozen there. They don't know. Nobody knows but you.
Oh my gosh. So, well, again, congratulations. That's so fun. And I actually will go check out for you, I will become a pop culture person for one night and I'll go check out the episode. I love that. So take us back though. This is where I think I'm so excited to learn from you about how you've learned to pivot in times of challenge. And you're the owner of a super successful boutique with your two sisters right here in North Carolina. So I know that we have that in common. But take us back to like how you started the boutique and then what happened when the pandemic hit.
Okay, so we started the boutique a couple years before the pandemic. We did great on a local level. We had two boutiques. One opened about a year and a half after the first. And we did great as far as the storefront and foot traffic, and just day-to-day sales were great. We opened it. We always wanted to do something together, me and my sisters. My youngest sister, who's actually like hiding over here in the corner.
Hi. Hi, sister.
She was working in Charlotte at the time, and she was making the commute in and out of Charlotte, and she hated the commute. And it kind of like pushed us into, okay, well, like we're not getting any younger. If we're going to do this, we need to go all in and just do it and go for it. And that was what pushed us into opening the boutique. And then when the pandemic hit and we were forced to close the doors, at that time, we would have like maybe 3 to 4 online sales for the whole week. Like, and it was like in-store pickups. It was still local customers who might just purchase online because it was just a little bit more convenient than coming in the store.
Yeah.
And when we had to close the doors, we realized like, okay, the only way we're going to survive is if we move it all online. Like if we start pushing everything online, it's not what we were used to, but we know there's a lot of boutiques out there whose primary source of sales is online.
Sure. And actually, I want to pause you super quick there. And I want to, because what you're about to share is super important. And I want to go a little bit deeper into what you just said first, which is we were forced to close our doors. And I want to know a little bit, what was that like? Not to like take you back into the pain, but I just like tell it. Cause you kind of said like, yeah, we closed our doors and we pivoted online, but I know there was more than that. So what was like, there
was a lot of sleepless nights. There was a lot of like panic, a lot of tears. It was this feeling of like, are we going to drown or are we going to make it? Like we had no idea, obviously, what was going to happen. We had no idea how long, because it was basically like, if you're not essential, you have to close your doors, but there was no timeline. There was no like, okay, 2 weeks, is this a month? Is this 2 months? Like we had no idea when we would be able to open again. We just, it was straight up panic. Like we were looking into like the PPP, the Paycheck Protection Plan, like trying to just have a little bit of a safety net if we didn't have any income for a month for all of our employees and everyone that worked with us. It was just a really like sinking, like defeated feeling. Like just, there was we felt like there was nothing that we could do about it because we had to close because they told us we had to close. Like we couldn't go against the rules and stay open. And even if we did stay open at that point, everyone was quarantined. So even if we tried to break the rules and stay open, nobody was out and about just like shopping at boutiques. Everybody was staying at home unless it was groceries or to and from like an essential job, working as a nurse or something.
Right. And was there any part of you that was tempted to quit at that point? Like, did you talk about that?
No, that was never an option. Quitting, giving up, that was not on our radar. It was just how are we going to save ourselves?
Well, I think what you said there is, and in a moment, I want you to talk about how you started transitioning online, but I think what you said there is so important that in those moments, and what I want the listeners to take from this is like, and that's what I'm taking from this, in those moments where it feels like suddenly the faucet is shut off and everything you thought was going to happen is no longer happening. And it's almost like that back against the wall type of feeling, right?
Yeah.
The option for quitting wasn't even there. It was like, no, how are we going to rise above? What are we going to do differently? And so I want to just take a moment for that, because I think that's so important for everyone to take away from what you just shared. And you'll always get answers to the questions you ask. So why not ask the question of how can we come through this? How can we rise above? So keep going and talk. So you said you're getting 3 to 4 online sales a week at that point. So you're like, okay, clearly that's not going to cut it, right? If we want to transition online, but what happened from there?
Well, so our first step, because at that time we did have Instagram. We hadn't really broke into TikTok yet. We had Instagram, and our first step was what we started doing is we would take turns driving out to the boutique, grabbing just piles of clothes, bringing it home and doing try-on sessions at home with our kids, like acting crazy in the background and trying to do anything we could to still show like we're still online. We still have clothes. It's still cute stuff. All of our clothes turned into like loungewear. Like we started ordering stuff that people could wear at home because everyone was stuck at home. So we got cute lounge sets and cute, just comfy t-shirts, anything that people would want while they're stuck at home for a month. So that was where it started. And I refused, when I first heard about TikTok, I refused to download it. I was kind of like you. I was like, I am not doing this. This is too much. Like, it's too much social media. I can't do another social media. We had, like, before we closed the doors, we had some of our younger high school part-time employees create us a page. They made us a TikTok page. They posted a few TikToks for us. I didn't even know how to work the app at that time. Yeah. And that was kind of how like we got started, is because we felt like we had to have one as a business, because you feel like you have to keep up with all aspects of social media when you have a small business. And when I got stuck at home and I got bored, I found myself on TikTok. And it was like, I started realizing how fun it was. And it genuinely just fit my personality, the dance trends. I love to dance. I've always been a cheerleader. There were so many like fashion TikToks. Like there was just so much on there. There was tons of comedy. I love to pick on my husband. Like it very much like fit who I am as a person. So I started doing it myself, even though I had refused for about 2 months before. And I had a video go viral within the first 2 weeks of posting it on my own. It hit like 2 million views. I had on a shirt from 3 Gems, and I realized the power that was in TikTok in that moment. And I could have sold probably like 10,000 of this one shirt. Every single comment was, okay, but where'd you get your shirt? Where did you get your shirt? Like,
oh my God.
When I realized the power of that, I was like, oh my God, this is what I've got to do. It's reaching all across the US. Like, it's not just our local community that like knows about us. Like we had people in Canada begging for shipping. We have people in Australia. Like, it was going globally, and it had never even crossed my mind that we could reach globally until TikTok.
Wow.
And so that post honestly is kind of what changed my world into realizing what I had stepped into and what I could do with it.
Yeah.
And I would still, when I would bring home these piles of clothes for the store, I wouldn't necessarily be making like a TikTok about the clothes. I would just be wearing them and doing my thing, just dancing and having fun, or playing a prank on my husband, and just having it on. If the video, I mean, within the first like 6 months, I had gotten up to 300,000 followers. And it was like, obviously every video doesn't go viral, but it's like every time I would hit a viral video, I would get a wave of new followers, and then they would find out about our family business. And it's amazing too how much people love supporting a small family business over these huge corporations. So when it's like, you can actually see the people, the family, my sisters, I got on board. When you can see the family behind the business versus just like 3 Gems Boutique, like some Instagram pictures, that's what changed the world for us. Just getting it out there, and the way that TikTok works, it just pushed it out to like a whole new world. And we've just kept it rolling ever since then, honestly.
Oh my gosh. You have me like finally open-minded. I mean, if that doesn't get someone open-minded, I don't know what does.
It's crazy though, because we've always been on Instagram. Like we've always had social media. We've always had Facebook. But when you make a post on Instagram, the people that see it are the people that follow you. Like it doesn't shoot it out to anyone in the world. Whereas obviously you can make a TikTok post and it can only like be seen by like your followers, or it can have like lower views, but you never know. You just keep posting, and then eventually something just like flies out to everyone. And it's all spiraled from there.
Well, and I think going to like, so what I want to take from that, and I think something too that's so important to note is like, you still took the action. So we can say like, yes, TikTok is amazing, and yes, TikTok did it, but it's like, no, like you did, at the end of the day, you're the one who did it and took the action and took the initiative in that moment. And so what would you say to someone who is in a position, if you kind of take yourself back to like before things took off with TikTok, and you were sitting there like, we had to close our doors. I don't know what's going to happen next. What did you need to know at that point that somebody else who's maybe in a position where they feel like their back is against a wall, they don't know how they're going to pivot from here, they don't know how they're going to have the future they wanted? Like, what advice did you need to hear at that time that could maybe be helpful to somebody else in that same type of position?
Just that failure is not an option. It's just if you take that off of the table altogether, you will find a way to succeed. If you take failure out of the equation, like we're not going to fail, we just got to figure out how we're not going to fail.
Yeah.
then you can get there and you can make it happen.
Wow. That's awesome. That's awesome. Because we spend so much mental energy sometimes obsessing over things. What if this happens? What if that? I love what you said. Just take it off the table. They don't even have to think about it. Okay, now we're only going to focus on how there's a way. So that was brilliant. That spoke to me. Tell us about, so obviously we can't have you on the show and not talk about social media. And part of this is like very selfish. Elise gets coached on social media by Jenna. So I'm really excited.
Yes, I'm here for it.
But I think all of our listeners are going to want to know too. So you already said one thing that I thought was so important, which was showing the people behind the business. So, and I think for anyone, regardless of who that is, right? We've got financial advisors listening. We've got small business owners. We've got salespeople. So talk to us. I want to go into a few of your tips, but let's talk first about showing more of like real life behind the brand. How do you do that? What are some tips? Because your stuff is so authentic and so fun. Like I just fell in love with it this morning while I was prepping. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. People ask me that all the time. And I tell them all the time, stop focusing on the actual product. Like for us, when it comes to clothes, yes, we have cute clothes. Is there a gazillion other boutiques that have cute clothes? Yes, absolutely. There are cute clothes that you can find anywhere, honestly. But what we bring is the family and the fun and all of that. It's more about being yourself, showing who you are, having fun with it. And people want that feeling. They want to have fun. They want to see the joy behind it. They want to be a part of something more than just like, oh, here's another cute bodysuit. Like, it's just, and TikTok is so much, it's so different than Instagram is just a pretty picture, which now they have reels. So reels do kind of show that a little bit more, but on TikTok, you can see their humor. You can see if someone is sarcastic and funny, and it's the personality too that brings people in. Like, I do post on the 3 Gems TikTok more about like specific clothes, but my page is mostly just having fun and dancing. Right now, I'm on this whole wave of trends for the past 48 hours of doing this ridiculous trend where I like arch my back, trying to get my husband to agree to a 4th baby. Like, it's mostly just fun and humor, and people want to watch something that like makes them feel better, not like not just another like pretty outfit. They just want to laugh and have fun with you.
Oh my gosh. I love that. I love that.
Yeah.
And if it, let's say maybe someone's like, okay, this doesn't come naturally, right? Like they're hearing you talk and they're like, okay, and she was a cheerleader, like she loves dancing, right? So this feels, what if it doesn't feel like it comes so naturally for people? What would you say to start, like just to get started?
Okay. So the way that the whole TikTok works is there's like different worlds to it. There's different, you have to like find your thing. It may not be dancing. It may not be like comedy, but there's so many sides to TikTok that you can find what you're comfortable with and find what showcases you as a person. If you don't dance, there's so many people that I follow that I have never once saw a dancing video of them. Find the trends and like tweak it to make it fit you and just have fun with it.
Okay.
And be consistent. Consistency is key. That is another very important thing with social media is regularly posting, regularly interacting, staying like posting every day, basically.
I was just going to ask you, so for you, consistent, do you have like a set time you do it every day, or is it more like just by the end of the day, I need to make sure I've done it?
By the end of the day, I need to make sure I've done it.
Okay.
Okay. It's because sometimes we'll usually make a few at work and I'll just post them once I've made them. Sometimes I'll get home and make something with my husband and then I'll post that. But consistency is really important.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. And then do you have, so we're going to get like nitty gritty tactical here. Cause I think sometimes people think I've got to have a whole like marketing team and marketing calendar, and I've got to know what I'm going to talk about like weeks in advance. So do you have topics planned out for days and weeks, or is it more like off the cuff, like you're sharing from the heart?
No, we are just like winging it. You're winging it. No, we do have, so like we have ideas of like right now we're working on like a back to school collection for teachers. And
it's fun.
I have done, because of TikTok, I've actually made friends through the app that also have huge followings, and all of my friends have done their own collections. Like we let them pick out their clothes, their style, everything. And like next week, we are doing, not this Wednesday, but next, one of my friends who is a Disney creator, like she lives in Orlando. Her whole content is featured on Disney. So we're doing a collection with her and it's very like Disney princess. And
oh my gosh, that's fun.
The cutest stuff ever. But we do plan ahead some. We honestly, we need more help.
Yeah.
We need more help. Like we do it all pretty much. And we do have some part-time employees. We do have a store manager like outside of us as the sisters. It's hard. It's hard to find employees.
Oh man. But you know what I love about what you said, and I think we can all like take a breath, is that some of it you're still winging. And that's
Oh,
that's
you're
so
winging it all the
refreshing.
time. Yeah.
That's so refreshing to say like, okay, it doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be, because I don't think that works. I don't think perfect works
No.
anyway. People don't
Well,
want
and that's
that.
what we're learning new stuff all the time. Like we're
Mhm.
constantly learning like what works, what doesn't work. We're constantly searching for new ways. Just like these collections have happened only in the last like we started 3 or 4 months ago. I'm trying to think when the first one was. It might have been closer to like 5 or 6 months, but it was
Mm,
just a whole new strategy of okay, like we're reaching our people now. Let's reach my friends' people. Like
right.
doing the collections with them and them pushing it, and it reached a whole new market for us again. So and it was something I literally just sat there and I was like, oh hey Bonnie, do you want to do a collection? Like
But it's the power of
it's
collaboration, right? And
yes, yes.
yeah, the power of getting in front of other people's audiences. What do you see? I want to ask you just one or two more questions and then we're going to wrap. This is so fun. What do you see coming next, whether it's like in TikTok specifically or in the world of social? I always like asking people who are very plugged in. Do you see a certain trend we should be aware of, something we should be thinking about as we go into next year? What do you see coming?
Honestly, I never know the trends until they are here. I never,
Mm.
that is one of the aspects that I am completely winging it. But no, it's always just take everything as it comes. Like
Mm.
when the trends happen, roll with them. Like don't
Yeah.
fight against it. I am so glad I broke down and I just downloaded the app to begin with because I wasn't going to. And it's one of those things that like it may be new and it may be scary and different. I mean, I've even struggled now because I'm so used to posting on TikTok to do reels because it's
Mm.
like, well, do I make new ones in the reels? Do I just like drop them over?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it's just keeping up with everything that's thrown at you.
Well, it's and here's what I'm taking from that, which is so good, is like you can literally just be present with what is and be
Yeah.
successful and roll with the punches. And I know that's kind
Yeah.
of one of the things you talk about, like dancing through the chaos, which I think
Yeah.
as female business owners, as fellow mom, it's like smile and dance through the chaos and you'll find a way, right?
It's the only way you can survive. Pretty much. Pretend like everything's wonderful and it
Oh my
just
gosh.
dance through the chaos.
Dance through the chaos. I love it. Well, that way may very well be your answer to my last question, but I want to ask final question, and then I want you to tell everyone where they can connect with you, Jenna. So what would you say to your younger self? Let's say to like, I don't know, early 20s Jenna, who maybe was, had aspirations, had big dreams, had no idea that this was coming for her. What piece of advice would you give to your younger self earlier on your path?
It's just which is something I've always lived by, is just never give up. Even when it gets
Mm,
hard, if you don't give up, you can always find a way to push through. No matter
yeah.
how hard it gets, there's always a way to get through the hard times.
Yeah. Oh, so good. So good. Jenna, tell everyone where they can connect with you.
So we are 3 Gems Boutique on Instagram and on TikTok, and that is the number 3 Gems with a Jems Boutique.
Awesome. Awesome. And then if they want to connect with your TikTok, it's at Jenna and her gents, right?
Yes, Jenna and her
Okay.
gents.
Amazing. Amazing. Jenna, this was so fun. I mean, the biggest thing I'm taking away is like failure is not an option. Aside
Yes.
from all the great social media
Yes.
tips and dancing, but like failure is not an option. And I think every single one of our listeners can resonate with that and can take that and use that as just a mindset shift for how they pivot through unexpected times of life. So thank you so much for coming on today and for sharing your energy, your brilliance,
Thank you
and
for
your
having
story.
me.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. It was so fun. And to you, my listener, go connect with Jenna. I mean, I was going to say she's a gem. And I was like, gosh, that's so corny, but it's true. It's
Thank
true.
you.
So go connect with her online, give her some love, let her know you connected with her from She Sells Radio. And I will see you on our next episode of She Sells Radio.